Welcome to this week's edition of the OCU Athletics Update. I'm Andrew Himes, and this week we're talking to Superstar Athlete of the Week, Blake Schwartz, and softball coach, Phil McSpadden. Here on the OCU Athletics Update, we're talking to Superstar Athlete of the Week, Blake Schwartz, senior right-hander from Rosemount, Minnesota. 10 strikeouts and only allowed 1 hit in 5 shutout innings against 15th-ranked Missouri Baptist last week. And Blake, what went into that performance against Missouri Baptist?
I mean, my normal preparation, I basically just underwent that. I mean, my main goal when I pitch is basically to be aggressive in the zone and let our defense do the job. And we have a great defense, and I just happened to strike a couple guys out trying to do that.
You also had 11 strikeouts the weekend before against Grandview. What's your approach on the mound? What goes into those things?
My approach on the mound is basically throws everything as hard as I can in the zone. Curveball, fastball, just throw it in the zone, man. And if they put it in play, my defense is going to make the play. If they swing through it, I get a strikeout.
I'm not sure why we're playing in February, but we've had game time temperatures of 43 degrees and 36 degrees. Now that's what the temperature is. That's not what it feels like with the wind outside. How does that impact the game, and does it make you miss Minnesota a little bit?
Oh, man, it's tough just trying to get warm. You literally never get warm when you pitch in that weather. You just have to bear through it, and I honestly feel like I was throwing back in Minnesota. I came down here for some warmer weather, and the first couple of games have been a little tough. You can't feel your fingers, can't feel your legs, and you just basically hope you can throw strikes.
You've listed Target Field, the Twins ballpark, as your favorite sports venue. You have any special memories of going to Twins games?
I mean, I always went to games with my family growing up in the Metrodome, so I was glad we finally got an outdoor stadium in Minnesota. I've only been there a couple of times, mostly with my summer ball friends. We'll drive up from Mankato, where I played at, and just have a day, spend a day in the city, and that's basically what it is. It's just a great time to spend the day with your family, with your friends. It's an amazing venue.
What's your major here at OCU?
Major here is environmental science with a minor in chemistry.
What sparked your interest in that area?
I mean, being from Minnesota, you're in the wilderness a lot. We have, as everybody knows, over 10,000 lakes, and I've always been around water, so I've wanted to get into more so water resource management, want to stay in the outdoors because that's where I enjoy most of my time.
OCU's ranked number 1 in the NAIA. What's the team's attitude and approach with that marker on your back?
I mean, we know we have the talent to be number 1. We know we have a target on our back. We know we're going to get the best game from our opponent every time we step on the field because they're trying to take down the number 1 team in the nation. I personally don't put too much stock into number 1. I mean, honestly, all that counts is you're number 1 at the end of the year. I mean, we could be number 50 right now, but as long as we win in Lewiston, it's all that matters.
What was your reason for choosing OCU?
OCU, I wanted to come win a national championship. I mean, that's my main goal. I also want to try to advance into the next level of baseball. That's like my secondary goal, but with the squad we have, I think we can take down a national championship.
All right, we've been talking to OCU Superstar Athlete of the Week, Blake Schwartz, senior right-handed pitcher for the number 1 ranked Stars. Coming up in just a moment, we'll talk to the softball coach, Phil McSpadden.
There's a call to be answered. The spirit of competition is still alive inside. The desire still drives. The phrase student athlete has a great ring to it. Lasting friendships are ready to be made. You just want to keep playing. Game on. Learn more at naia.org.
Here on the OCU Athletics Update, we've got softball coach Phil McSpadden. Stars get their season underway on Friday. They're ranked number 3 in the NAIA. And, Coach, coming into the season with that number 3 ranking, what do you expect out of your ball club?
I'm really excited about this year. I'm always hesitant to say anything negative about the previous year, the previous couple of years, et cetera, because it sounds like you're slamming previous ball players. But most coaches in softball, baseball, evaluate their ball club in 4 areas. You know, is your offense better, is your pitching better, is your defense better, is your team speed up, et cetera, your depth, or if you want to throw in some other topics. And we feel very good about the first 4 things I mentioned. We think our pitching is stronger this year. We think offensively we're going to be better. Defensively, there's no question, we're a little more sound. And we know athletically our team speed has improved.
team also picked to win the Sooner Athletic Conference. When you look around the conference, what other teams do you look at that are going to pose the biggest challenges?
Well, when we look at, even at the national level, you think you always have your eyes set on one opponent, and yet nationally there's always a surprise. And I wouldn't say anything different even about the Sooner Athletic Conference. Historically, it's kind of been a race between Lubbock and OCU, but there's always one team that has had a great year, maybe picked up a key recruit, maybe somebody in the circle that's a difference maker. And I'm expecting Oklahoma Christian to be a good bunch this year, and SNU having a good team. We think USAO is going to be vastly improved. Somebody in there is going to be a surprise, and maybe even knock off, if you want to call it that, the traditional powers of Lubbock and ourselves.
You return 8 players from last year's team. You have All-American Lily Lavelle, and then all-conference players Megan De La Torre and Tori Joyner. What do you expect from your returners?
Well, I'm expecting a lot, and obviously every coach thinks he's going to ride the coattails of his difference makers, and the 3 you mentioned right there are going to help us immeasurably. The loss of Natalie Timmermans, which is a good ball player that we thought we were going to get her last year of eligibility, and it didn't work out that way. So on paper last year we didn't have any seniors, but that doesn't mean we returned everybody that we would have liked to have put on our roster this year. But those 3, we've got an exciting transfer in Haley Anderson, who's coming in from OU. I really like Angela Lovelady, who's a transfer from a California junior college, Rosemount. Moving some people around a little bit, some key additions, a couple of freshmen, they're going to make a difference. So I'm excited about the possibilities.
You mentioned a couple of your newcomers. 5 newcomers come in to help the team out. Where are they going to make the impact, do you feel?
Well, I think both offensively and defensively. Like I said, Haley Anderson is a speed player that can go yard, which is an unusual combination. Big-time contributor. We're starting the season, as a matter of fact, with her in the thick of our lineup, and traditionally we want the new kids to prove themselves. We always say you win your job in practice, but you lose it in the ball game. But until you see competition, you really don't know if your evaluation in practice is accurate. I would be surprised before it's not all said and done that Haley would stay at the top of the order, but an Angela Lovelady would work her way into maybe a 3, 4, 5 type spot. So like I said, we're looking for big things from her. And Jamie Ratliff, who's a freshman from Mustang, I think is going to be a welcome addition. So the new girls, Danny Fox will be in the circle throwing for us this year, transfer from Washburn. I think they're all going to be major contributors.
What do you feel like makes OCU unique?
That's an interesting question. It's an easy sell, academically speaking, I guess. When you walk somebody around campus, they're always commenting on the facilities, the teacher-student ratio, obviously some unique majors. We like to think that when we take somebody through the gym, the number of banners that are in there, you're at least attractive to the right type of competitive athlete, which is what we're, as coaches, always looking for. But I'll always brag on just being an Okie. In the small town feel, just people being friendly, people that care and seem to know you. I mean, use that expression the university used, where you're a name, not a number. So I don't think everybody can brag about that, and that's why I've spent so many years here.
All right, we've been talking to OCU softball coach Phil McSpadden. Stars get their season underway on Friday. You can keep up with their progress on OCUsports.com. That's it for this week's edition of the OCU Athletics Update. Check back every week for all the latest in OCU sports.